Hello, people. My name is Detroit Miracle. Yes, indeed. I heard that they dug up the body of the late great actor, philosopher, martial artist named Bruce Lee. Apparently, they were trying to conduct some type of further test on him in order to finally conclude the reason behind his death all of those years ago. That would imply a great need to know, like the general publics of these eras that have passed want to know, starting with Bruce Lee's era leading all the way up into now, because somebody physically fit in the prime of their health and conditioning and at the height of their popularity doesn't just die with little or no explanation. So what happened to Bruce Lee was an amazing, astounding, incredible fluke in that his death sparked more shock, surprise, awe, wonder, disbelief, and sorrow than he did while he was alive. That was amazing. His popularity soared up like 20, 30 times, 50 times than it was when he was alive. When he died, he was that immensely popular. He became instantly the A-list actor of the world that every movie studio would have tried to give an humongous contract to, had they known that Bruce Lee would have been as great as he was. Like, all those companies in America were scratching their heads and kicking themselves when they didn't take Bruce Lee serious back in the late 60s and early 70s, I believe. He had to go back to Hong Kong in 1970 and start making local Hong Kong movies, but they were action-packed and martial art films. Bruce Lee could have did any type of film or any type of film genre because he was raised as a child actor. So he did films when he was a child. So he didn't necessarily have to only do action martial art films because he could have did any genre. But at that time, martial arts was huge. It was a huge part of cinema and it was ever growing. We know when Bruce Lee got involved in martial arts and mixed up in it, he took it to the next level. He took it to the stratosphere. He piqued interest in the whole sport, I would say conditioning method for the mind and body. And that describes Kung Fu. And I'm sure Bruce Lee knew some karate too, because he was good at integrating styles and taking from the best qualities of styles and making them into what would be useful to him. But it's crazy though. People wanted to see actual street fights with Bruce Lee. That would have been amazing to have seen. And they said Bruce Lee was winning a lot of those street fights, so he won all of them. Some said he won most of them, but everybody always says he only won, he never lost them. But, if you have a lot of successes and have some failures, but it's mostly successes in your life, then, a few failures isn't that bad. So even if Bruce Lee had lost a fight or two along the way, he would still be a great innovator, martial artist, filmmaker, director, fitness conscious being, and everything else that went into his profile. Yeah, but yeah, they dug up Bruce Lee's body, unless it was a rumor. I researched into the matters a little bit, but it's very eerie. You're like thinking that advanced medical science must have took a rapid leap ahead if they could dig somebody up that died, say, 40 years ago or so, and then conduct tests on their mind, and which will enable them to ascertain as to the cause of their deaths. And they can even tell what was in their system at that time. And this is 40 years later. That's amazing. So, and folks, they have the cloning technology. If they had cloning technology, would they dig up all the famous people of the past era that have died and clone them and not just clone them, accelerate their cloning process to full growth, and then imprint certain things onto their mindset so that they would believe that they are the actual genuine article, which are the people that they were cloned from. That would be a trip if they can do that. And they have that, the cloning technology, they've been able to clone sheeps and other animals, but that would be a trip. And so you know they would want to clone Bruce Lee, like they would want to clone Tupac's, but they say his body was like his ashes were scattered, so there's nothing to get a DNA sample off of unless the hospitals kept his blood samples. Like Bruce Lee, Tupac, Elvis, like all of them, if they took blood samples from them when they died at that time, those blood samples are worth so much money. And would they be thinking about storing them at the time for future cloning purposes? Did they just throw those blood samples out? That would be crazy because those blood samples could turn up in a Count Dracula movie and it would make the movie popular. Like Dracula could say, hey, look, I got Tupac's blood. I got Elvis's blood. I got Michael Jackson's blood. I got Prince's blood, you know, and I got certainly Bruce Lee would be like the prime, like specimen as far as him being a perfect athlete, a perfect martial artist, perfect philosopher. He was a perfect organizer too, where, you know, he was a race unifier where he taught to all types of people, white, black, Hispanic, other Asians. He just didn't say, oh, I'm only teaching to these type of people. So he recognized the goodness in people, the potential in people to learn. And if they were conditioned the right way, they would turn out even better than before. So many of Bruce Lee's students are also popular to this day. Like, just say if you could go learn martial arts from Bruce Lee's student or one of his pupils, how much would that be worth to you? Like, wouldn't you pay $500 to learn everything that they knew, or especially the stuff that Bruce Lee specifically taught them? You'll be like, yeah, I'll pay $500 to be taught by the best. Now, Bruce Lee is so immensely famous and popular and iconic in the cinema world, martial art world, fitness world, that most certainly, you know, they're going to think great things about anything pertaining to Bruce Lee, and especially his students. So his students can charge like anybody any type of price, so they can get schools, and the schools are going to be packed because they're going to put on the wall that Bruce Lee taught them themselves, and they were in fact students of Bruce Lee. So people would pack in there and pay tooth and nail. And that is the legend of Bruce Lee overstated that way as well. Yeah, it's a trip, but it's, you know, it's something remarkable too. So, well, folks, I'd appreciate it if you would give me those likes, comments, and please subscribe to my channel. Thanks indeed.